Hi, my name is Derek and I'm a software engineer at MetricFire. Today I will be showing you guys how to set up CollectD on a Linux machine along with sending metrics to MetricFire. What is MetricFire? It is a system monitoring solution that hosts popular monitoring software like Grafana, and Prometheus. But today we'll be focusing on using CollectD to send metrics to a Graphite database to display metrics on Grafana. Now you guys can go on to collectd.org to check out CollectD and more information on it. And as you can see, there are several plugins here that allow you to send different metric formats. But we will be using MetricFire's CollectD config file that uses the right Graphite plugin for today. Now typically you will be self-hosting your own server or instance that holds monitoring processes like Graphite and Grafana, but MetricFire makes that process easier by doing all of that for you. All we need to do is set up CollectD on the system that we want to monitor, put the config file in the right place, and it'll start sending metrics to our MetricFire account. Now today we'll be using a Linux machine that's a desktop, but for this demonstration, let's pretend that this is a web server that's running Ubuntu. So first thing we need are the correct packages for running CollectD. So let's first get RD tool. Next we need CollectD. We also need CollectD utils for Ubuntu, so let's do that as well. I actually had that already installed, but for you it'll ask you to confirm to install or not. Next, let's make a MetricFire account for a 14-day free trial. I actually have a MetricFire account already, but you could create an account right here. So let's log in. And once you make a MetricFire account and log in, you'll come up to this dashboard, and to get the CollectD config you want to go to add-ons, and then CollectD over here, and you'll see these two different versions for CollectD for the config files, and you want to download the 5.4 version. So let's do that. And once we have that, we'll come back to our terminal and then transfer that config file into the correct place. So as you can see, the CollectD config file will normally be in /etc/collectd folder. As you can see, there's a default config file once you've installed CollectD, and we're going to be replacing that with our newly downloaded ones. So let's go move that from our downloads folder into here. And let's sudo that. And we should have a new config file that is our custom one from MetricFire. The next step is to enable CollectD. So let's run sudo system control enable CollectD. And then next, let's start that service. And now we can check the status of this service. And we can see that it is active and running. So now at this point, our CollectD should be sending metrics to our MetricFire account. So let's go back onto our MetricFire dashboard. And now let's actually see if our metrics are being sent over. So we can go to our metrics tree map here over here. And you can see that there is a CollectD section here now. This is my computer's host name, and you can see that we have a lot of system performance metrics over here. So let's go to our Grafana dashboards and create a new dashboard. And over here we'll make a new panel and add a CollectD metric. Now typically this query should be defaulted to hosted graphite, but if you're a little bit more advanced and have a different database, you can select your database over here. So let's go collect D, our host name, and let's do all of the CPU's system. Now over here we can actually specify with a wildcard all of the CPUs, and you can see now that we have all of the CPUs. And then let's combine them into an average. And now you can see that our metrics here are being combined. And let's add another query. Or actually, let's copy the query over here by duplicating it. And let's do CPU idle so that we can see a comparison between the used by system and the idle. And now we have a new dashboard over here that has a panel that shows the CPU usage of this computer pretty much. If this were to be an actual web server, we can actually track if if a server is having problems or not. And later on you can actually add annotations here that are webhooks by GitHub, so you can see if a push to the code base has changed anything in terms of performance. You can add more panels to your dashboard by clicking over here. Let's add our RAM. Now you can see we have a panel with used RAM and free RAM. Let's change the panel name. And now you can see over here we're having a dashboard that monitors our CPU and our RAM. I hope this video helps you guys out on getting started using collectd from MetricFire. Please feel free to leave comments or suggestions below, and see you guys in the next video.